Hello everyone. Welcome today and thank you for joining our session for In the Know Tips and Tricks for Evolve 365. We wanted to start this weekly series to give simple and easy tips that anyone can go back to their desk and quickly implement. We know your time is valuable, so we strive to keep these sessions to no more than 30 minutes, sometimes even less. We're pushing the topics out monthly, so you only have to sign up once for the monthly series instead of 4 or 5 times a month. If you miss any of the past sessions, you can always find them on the Planet Technologies YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/Planet Technologies. You can also find the videos on my personal YouTube channel at youtube.com/c/Tanya Kaiser. We have our June topics set, and we're getting ready to push out the July topics in the next week, so keep an eye out for those. A little bit about myself. I'm your host, Tanya Kaiser. I'm a longtime Microsoft geek and SharePoint nerd. One of the things that I get really excited about is helping people learn new skills, especially when it comes to the Microsoft Productivity Suite. If you ever have any questions after the session, you can always reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn. So a little bit about Planet. Planet has been providing expert support in the Microsoft world for over 18 years. We offer full services for the entire Microsoft Cloud and Productivity Suite, including advisory, deployment, and training services, mobile application development and solutions, and strategic business consulting, including technology, compliance, and security guidance. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off. We've been taking a look at the different applications out there. Microsoft had a big May 4th announcement where they mainly focused on SharePoint, but they also announced a few changes to OneDrive, and we're starting to see some of those roll out. So with more people paying closer attention to their files, we wanted to take a closer look today. So one of the main goals that people use OneDrive is because they want to sync across multiple devices. Now OneDrive has always had the big selling point that you can sync your libraries and that you are able to sync to multiple devices. Now they do have separate clients for OneDrive and OneDrive for Business, and the sync clients have always not had the best track record or reception by the business community, but they are getting better. I'm going to show you some of the new improvements today. So some of the most recent ones is Skype has been integrated into OneDrive. So if you're within the OneDrive website or your Office 365 account and using OneDrive, you can now actively call somebody from within OneDrive without having to go directly to Skype. They've also recently updated the app for Windows 10. This was just last month. They made the app touch-friendly, but they also incorporated features into the app that were previously only available by accessing OneDrive through the browser. Things such as restoring files from the recycling bin, drag and drop, and other features. So a lot of improvements have been made on the mobile front as well. You could previously sync your personal OneDrive account on your mobile device, but you can now add multiple OneDrive for Business accounts too. Now you are still limited to one personal account. So we're probably going to go through items pretty quickly today because I'm mainly going to show you the new menus. But if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat window and I'm keeping an eye on that. So I'm going to go right into my demo, and I'm first going to show you around the new browser interface for OneDrive. So this is one of my demo accounts. It is a first release, so we get to see a lot of the changes populate pretty quickly. A few weeks ago, we were able to see the SharePoint tile change from sites to actually say SharePoint and see the new SharePoint homepage experience. And now we're seeing the new OneDrive experience as well. So some of these OneDrive changes that we're going to talk about are very, very subtle, but they've been requests that have been coming for a long time, so they're making a really big impact on the community. So right away you can see that I've got a fresh new interface on the OneDrive homepage. I do have this option at the bottom to return to the classic OneDrive, and after we take a look around, I'll show you what that looks like, just to give you a refresher. You can even see that there's an update of this page available, and it wants me to click to reload, but I'm going to hold off on that. So we can see that we've got some new categories over here. We can always see all of my files, and this is, instead of following the breadcrumb trail back, I now have a sidebar that makes it a little bit easier to navigate. I can see recent items that I've worked on, and I can also see items that have been shared with me by others, which is a great feature if you know that somebody sent you a link and maybe you don't have the email anymore. This is a great place to come and see who shared something with you, when was it last modified. Now again, this is a demo account, so you're probably going to be seeing some older dates in there, but as you can see, I can filter in here by name, I can sort it, really, really great feature. You can also see Discover, which lets you see what people are working around with you. So you can see there's a bunch of different people in here, quick reference cards, quick starts for SharePoint. So this is similar to what you would see in Delve, but it's a new feature there. And then of course we have our recycle bin, where you can see which items were deleted. You can choose the option to restore those. So the one thing that I want to show you, if we go back to our files, we always have this sync option. Now, syncing for OneDrive for Business has always been a little bit buggy. If you install the app on your machine, what I would see happen a lot is that people would try to authenticate with the app and it would normally fail. So I would always direct people to the browser and use the sync option from there, and then it's going to prompt you to get the OneDrive Business app that's right for you. So sometimes you have to try it both ways, syncing directly from your computer, syncing directly from the browser. Usually it takes a few times and then you get it working. So if I were to click sync now, I'm not going to let this go all the way through because I've already synced it. But you would see this syncing in the back. Now, this is actually the first time that I've been able to get my demo account to sync fully, which is why I was not going to let that run all the way. But you can see if I go to my Explorer files on the computer, I now have my OneDrive account. You can always right-click over here. You have the option to view online. You can choose OneDrive folders to sync, but it's pretty basic. It gives you a Windows Explorer file-like structure. But this is what people wanted. They didn't always want to have to be going to the browser to access their files. And ideally, if they create new files and they put them in this folder, they should be syncing back to the cloud, to the browser. So that's the way we want it to work. Again, the sync clients always haven't had a great track record or reception. They are getting a lot better. You can also see I have a personal one here. So it does allow you to sync multiple clients for OneDrive. So that's the new interface on the browser. I'm going to jump really quickly back to it. And I also wanted to show everyone, if I still have it up on the screen, what it looks like in the mobile app. We're going to have a pretty busy background there. Let me switch back to the demo screen and then put the phone in front. That may be a little bit better. So this is the new OneDrive app. Again, I'll go back really quickly. Again, it's just the OneDrive app, but it lets you have multiple accounts within one OneDrive app. So you can see I've got my own personal OneDrive business here. I've got my corporate one for Planet Technologies, and then I have my demo one as well. So very similar experience is what they're pushing out with all of their new mobile applications. They want the experience from mobile, whether it's an iPhone like this demo or an Android phone, or if you have a Windows device like the Windows 10 app or a Microsoft Surface Pro. They want it to all be very, very similar. They want it to function the same when you rotate, as you just saw that on there. They want the menus and the buttons to be the same. So if we go into one of these files, and again, these are all demo files, I will just come over here. You can see I just held on the screen, and then I can select certain items. You can see we've got a share menu, we've got a more menu. So it's very, very basic, but they are starting to put additional functionality into their mobile apps. So I'm going to unselect those. And you can also see you have the option to come in and delete these. So still very basic stuff. You've got your OneDrive app, but it is getting a lot better. You can also see down at the bottom, I'm going to select Recent. It shows me my recent items. Now it doesn't give me the shared with me, but it does show which items you have shared. So you also have offline as well. And if you are connected to SharePoint sites, you can also pull up the files within your SharePoint sites. So again, this is a team site that I've used multiple times on my demos. You can see some of the stuff that we've added in there. We'll probably see some empty folders because I've cleaned them out recently. Yeah, this was a demo that I was doing just last week. So we can see we've created that folder structure within the SharePoint site, and this new mobile app is letting you access that. And that's the integration that they've been talking about with the mobile applications. So again, just a little peek at what the mobile app looks like on an iPhone. Again, I can always come in and adjust this account. I can come in and add new files. If I have something, I can create a folder. I can choose an existing file on my mobile device. If I wanted to share something from the mobile device, we're going to show that just a little bit. You can also do that, though it's a little bit of a longer step than what you're used to in the app. So I'm going to go back to my slide. So sharing files, in addition to the sync issues that we've had, they've also made a lot of improvements to sharing files. So the new look is designed to make it easier to see what you have shared and also what's been shared with you. And you saw that when I showed that sidebar there. The other thing that they've done to make it a little bit easier is getting you links to allow people to view or edit a file. they've had instances in the past where it wasn't as clear when you would try and share a document from within OneDrive. So this does require a few extra steps on the iPhone app that I'm going to show you. But the other great thing is that you can disable the links at any time, including from the iOS app. So that was one thing that I was really happy to see. They are trying to make every application, whether it's on a laptop, a desktop, or a mobile device, appear very similar, but they also want to have the same functionality. So I'm going to go back to our online OneDrive. And you can see I'll just come in here and I'll take one of our Excel files here. And again, right at the top, we've got our charm bar, and we can say share the file, or we can say get a link. And if we choose get a link, again, it's invite people if we want to, get a link, and you just have a drop down. And they try to make it as easy as possible. View link, Contoso account required, view link, no sign-in required, edit link, that simple. Now, one thing that I have heard, if I come in here and I just say I want people to view the link without any sign-in, and I click create, so there used to be an option here to shorten the URL. So they are pretty long URLs, and on the older OneDrive application in the browser, you had this nifty little option, shorten the link, and it gave you a short URL. They've taken that away, and they've stated on their blog since March that they are working on it, and to bear with them as they make all the other improvements. But you can also see you can set an expiration date. So I can set this to expire in 1 day, 30 days, or if I want to set a custom day and say 7 days from now, that's also something that I can do. And then I can come in here, click Save, click Copy to the URL, and then I can send that out to somebody. So again, they've tried to make sharing as clear as possible. You can also come in here to the same document and see who I've shared it with from that same screen. So of course, I'm the owner. We can see people within my organization. And I don't think this has been shared outside. I can also choose the option to stop sharing. So even though all these people have viewed the document, I can click stop sharing, and then it's going to warn me, hey, anybody who has this link, they can no longer view this document. But that's a great feature to have. Again, you could do some of these things with the older OneDrive applications, but it's gotten a little bit clearer at that. So again, now I see the documents only shared with me, and then if I want to invite people, we've got those options there. So that's one of the great things that I love that they've improved about the app. So again, they've replaced the menu with this charm bar here, and as you select documents, you can see you've got the same share link or get a link before. And we're going to get to those awesome options there for move to and copy to fairly soon. So I want to show you again, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint just so it's a little bit clearer. On the mobile app, we'll do that same thing. So we know that we've already not shared that Japan revenues by city, so I'm just going to take the next document. I'm going to hold down my screen. I can preview it, and just by selecting that document, if I select at the bottom, I get the pop-up, and I can invite people, copy link. But if I click copy link, it's just going to serve me a link. What you have to do with the iOS app that was a little disappointing is if I want to make sure that link only lets people view, and you see the pop-up here at the top. So I have to scroll to the side and click view only and then copy the link. So I wish that was a little bit clearer on the iOS app. I think there's some room for improvement there because I can definitely see some people not realizing that they're sending out a link that can be edited. So that's something to be very mindful of in the iOS app. And I'll just repeat that one more time. That initial link lets people view and edit. It says it at the top there. When you're paying attention to the bottom here, you have to drag it over, click view only, and then it changes. And now if you drag it over and you click more, you kind of see the same options that you saw online, copy link, email and Outlook, send final. If I say copy link, this is just letting me reorganize it. But this isn't something that people would normally look at. So you can see I could do that, but that's not really giving me much options. What I would love to do is really just be able to have that view only the very first item. So you want to remember to click view only on those. So that's on the iOS app. Now again, if I wanted to come back to, we'll pick another document. You can see here in the details that it's shared with people. And I can have the option to rename this file, but you can see all the people that are shared with. So even within the mobile app, I can see just who's viewing this document. And you can see there's an option here to allow editing. So there's ways around it from within the mobile app to allow people to edit, but it's just a little bit clunkier than it needs to be. So that's a look at the mobile app and sharing documents within the mobile app. Again, you can remove permissions from the iOS app, but again, it's not really easy to get to. So if I come in and look at this document, I don't want to open it up. Details, rename this file, open another app. There should be a remove permissions button, but you see there's just so many people that it's been shared with that you really never see that option. So the only thing that you can do is turn off allow editing. So definitely great to have the improvements on the mobile app. Still some little changes that need to be made. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. So sharing files, we just showed how you can share them. We showed that you can disable the links at any time, which is a great thing. Again, it makes it easier to see what's been shared with you. It really, really does. So this is the next big thing that they've done to the new OneDrive app within the browser. You can now move or copy a file directly from within there. You don't have to drag it from Explorer, wait for it to sync, because that's what people were having a lot of problems with, is they would drag the folders around in their Windows Explorer and then try to sync, and you'd have all those sync problems with the sync clients. So you can do this directly within the browser. Again, it's a very, very small, subtle change. It's been requested for a very long time, so it's making a really big impact. And the other thing you can do is rename files, and we're starting to see this with SharePoint libraries as well. So again, these actions can also be completed in the iOS app, but I will show you very, very quickly on our browser. Again, if I come in, since we've been modifying our Japan revenues, we can come up here to the charm bar and just say rename. And I can also move or copy that same file. Now, if you say copy to, you can see it's going to ask me for a folder. It wants to know somewhere else that this information is going to go. So if I say copy it to Contoso Electronics, that's all it is. Now, if I say move it, it's going to give me a very, very similar option. Select the folder, select move. And if we come in here and do a refresh, we didn't even have to refresh. We saw it move right away. So now if I come back to class documents, which has a different view, we see our file in there. And you can see that I did change that file name. So again, really, really subtle change, but making a big improvement on the way people are interacting within OneDrive. You can also do that same thing within the mobile app. So I will switch back to the demo screen one more time just to make sure that that's a little bit easier to look at. And we can see that this, I probably need to log out and log back in to see where that Japan file has been moved. But again, if I come in here and select my annual financial report and say move this file, it's just going to ask me where do I want to put this. And then it's going to remind me. It's giving you instructions, it's trying to help you out. Go ahead and move that file. We can see it updated right away. And my Japan file, now that it refreshes, is no longer on that screen. So if I want to come in and move another file, maybe I don't. Maybe I want to rename this one. It's no longer draft. And just like that, my file is renamed. So these are really, really subtle changes, but they're such big improvements to both the online browse experience with OneDrive and the mobile applications that they're making a really big impact across people. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. I know we've been jumping around a little bit. Again, moving and renaming files, it was a very, very subtle change, but they're having a big impact on users. And this is just par for the course what's coming out with the Windows 10 app. And now you're seeing the same experience on the browser, the same experience on the mobile application. That's what Microsoft is moving towards. They want all of their mobile applications to be platform agnostic. So whether you're on Windows 10, whether it's a laptop, a desktop, or a Surface Pro, or an iPhone, or an Android device. They want you to have the same experience across all platforms, across all devices. So we're going to see that look even on the mobile phone. You know, it looks very similar to the browsing experience. So this is something that we wanted to have these sessions for, these tips and tricks. There's all these subtle changes that go on with Office 365 because they do push out changes regularly, and they push out pretty major changes every quarter or twice a year. We know we had some really big changes in SharePoint coming down pretty soon, and a lot of people are just wondering what's going to happen with SharePoint libraries, what's going to happen with a different kind of pages. These are subtle changes that we're seeing in OneDrive, and they're definitely improvements, but it's very, very different for a user. So I told you I was going to go back and show you the classic view. So this is the new view in SharePoint. If we come in and we select a file, we get the new charm bar, we have share, we get a link, we can move it, we can copy it, we can rename. If we select more than one file, you can see that we can even move multiple files, which is just mind-blowing in the Windows world when it comes to OneDrive files and SharePoint files. Now if we go back to the classic OneDrive, we can see, you know, we have that charm bar, and we have a more option if I come in here and select a file. And we've got the new menus in there too, but it's just a different link. It's just a different look. It doesn't reflect what the app is in Windows 10. It doesn't reflect what the mobile is. So again, we're starting to see those new menu options, but the view and the skin around it is going to be very much different. So I'm going to go back to my slide deck. One thing that Planet Technologies can help you with, especially Evolve 365, is keeping you as the customer informed and then helping your users get used to these changes, understand why they're happening, and then learn about the new features. So these short tips that we're giving you are exactly what we want to help you with user adoption. You may want to take a closer look at Evolve 365 to help you with that. So Evolve 365 is a Planet Technology service. I'm the trusted advisor with Planet Technologies. It's one of our most comprehensive Office 365 support on the planet. It's a subscription-based help desk as a service. It's designed to help increase end-user adoption and evolve your organization to be more productive. We know you don't want to waste time trying to figure out what's happening in Office 365 and how do you communicate that to your users, and then how do you help your users learn the new interface or get training on the new features. We offer on-demand self-help training videos. We have more than 25,000 videos across Office 2010, 2013, 2016, and of course Office 365. We actually just updated a lot of our Office 365 content with a lot of the recent changes. We also have available add-ons that include live phone support, planning and onboarding guidance if you're planning a migration or upgrade to Office 365, and even in-person classroom training if that's what your users need. So I'm not going to demo our site since we are doing really, really great on time, but we do have a free trial site that you can come and look at. Now, our free trial site has limited content on there, so you'll be able to see some content on Sway, which is one of the Office 365 apps that I'm going to be presenting on next week at Unity Connect Online, a free online Office 365 and SharePoint conference, and I'll have a tips and tricks session on it at the end of the month as well. So that's a really good example of recent updates in Office 365, and we've got a few videos on it giving you the basics of Sway, walking you through exactly what you need to do. But you will be able to see some of our Office content, and again, that trial site is just to give you an idea of the level of content and the depth of the knowledge that we can provide to your users. So if you'd like to go to our free trial site, it's freetrial.o365support.com. Again, you can sign up for that free trial. We also give you the sample videos that you can look at as well. And then if you ever have any questions, you can always email us at info@o365support.com. Again, we have a few upcoming events. So our Tips and Tricks June series is going to continue. Next week, I'm going to talk about moving content within SharePoint. And at the end of the month, I'll be talking about Sway. We are working on our July topics, and those should be pushed out within the next week or two. So there is a free virtual training conference for SharePoint, Office 365, and Azure if you're interested in some other on-demand sessions. That's happening next week, June 20th through 23rd. We have several Planet Technologies people presenting, including myself, Jennifer Mason, and Kathy Dew, and a lot of other SharePoint MVPs and experts in the field. At the end of the month, on June 30th, Planet Technologies is going to have our best practices for Windows 10 deployment. So if you're also looking at deploying Windows 10 to your environment, this may be a good session for you to sit in on. So again, we know that everybody's time is always valuable. I am here for any questions. We're coming up right at time. We've got about 5 minutes left. But I want to thank everybody for joining today. I hope it was really useful. If you haven't already seen the new OneDrive for business experience. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight. If you've hesitated putting those apps on your mobile device, I hope you feel a little bit better about being able to use it. It's really great to be able to have access to all of your content wherever you need to be. You don't have to be tied to your computer anymore, and they're making a lot of improvements and making sure that workers can get to the information that they need. So again, I'll be here for a few minutes for any questions. Otherwise, thanks everybody for your time today.